Hey there, ready to dive into the world of chill music? Every time I put on a chill playlist, I kind of wonder about its backstory. Like, how did we get from smoky jazz clubs to lo-fi hip-hop beats?
It's interesting how we use chill to describe so many different sounds, right? What we consider chill music today has been shaped by decades of experimentation and cultural shifts going way beyond just a genre definition.
Okay, so let's rewind the clock. Where does this journey into chill actually begin?
Well, believe it or not, our first stop takes us back to the 1950s and the birth of cool jazz. Imagine this. You're in a dimly lit jazz club, and instead of the fast-paced frenetic energy of bebop, the music has slowed down, creating a more introspective and relaxed vibe.
It's like the musical equivalent of swapping a shot of espresso for a smooth cup of coffee.
Right.
So what was behind this shift towards a more mellow sound?
The 1950s were a time of major change. After World War II, people were looking for something smoother, more reflective. Cool jazz offered that escape. It was a departure from the anxieties of the time, a chance to unwind and contemplate.
And when you think about iconic examples of cool jazz, one album instantly comes to mind. Miles Davis's Kind of Blue. Have you ever listened to it?
It's considered by many to be the quintessential cool jazz record, and for good reason. It's actually the best-selling jazz record of all time. Even if you're not a die-hard jazz enthusiast, there's something so captivating about those mellow melodies.
Totally. It's like it just washes over you, transporting you back to that era.
Yeah.
But as the calendar flipped to the 1960s, things got a little more global and a touch more experimental.
It's fascinating. You have the rise of bossa nova in Brazil, all sunshine and beach vibes. Even today you hear The Girl from Ipanema, and you're instantly transported to a beachside cafe.
Huh?
At the same time, on a completely different end of the spectrum, you have psychedelic rock emerging.
Bands like Pink Floyd were experimenting with these mind-bending soundscapes, right? Long instrumental sections that were almost hypnotic.
Exactly. It's a great example of how even back then musicians were exploring the idea of music as an experience, something that could transport you to another place or state of mind.
It's interesting to think about how both those styles, bossa nova and psychedelic rock, contributed to what we now consider chill, even though they sound so different on the surface.
It's all about creating a mood and atmosphere. And that brings us to the 1970s, a pivotal decade where ambient music started to emerge as its own distinct concept.
And this is where Brian Eno comes in with his album Music for Airports.
I have to admit, the idea of music designed to be ignorable is still kind of mind-blowing to me. Would you actually want that?
That was Eno's intention. It's not about demanding your attention, it's about subtly shaping the atmosphere, adding a layer of sonic texture without being distracting. It's almost like sonic wallpaper.
Sonic wallpaper, I love that.
Yeah.
But in the same decade, we also see the rise of yacht rock. Talk about a smooth sound.
It seems surprising that this polished, often sophisticated music would be lumped in with chill, but it makes sense when you consider the overall vibe. Bands like Steely Dan and the Doobie Brothers, even if you don't know the genre, you've probably heard their music and felt those chill vibes. Oh, absolutely. It's like the soundtrack to a perfect sunset cruise.
Mm-hmm.
But as we move into the 1980s, things take an interesting turn toward more intentional relaxation.
You were saying how the 80s took an interesting turn. It's like that desire for chill, it became like even more intentional. Like the 80s, they brought us new age music, and that was like all about harnessing sound for relaxation and well-being.
Yeah. It's like the grandfather of all those mindfulness apps that we use today, right? They get like Enya, Kitaro, those ethereal melodies that just seem to melt away stress.
Exactly. It was a reflection of the growing interest in meditation, yoga, and exploring that mind-body connection. But here's where things take a kind of unexpected turn. Remember those high energy raves we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Well, even in those intense environments, people needed a break from the constant stimulation. That's where chill-out rooms came in.
It's fascinating how even in those settings, like dedicated to just letting loose, there was a need for a space to just breathe. So we've gone from cool jazz providing a respite from like post-war anxieties to chill-out rooms offering refuge from sensory overload. Makes you wonder what that says about us as humans, always needing those moments of balance.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the enduring power of chill. And that need for balance continued into the 90s. The electronic music scene, it wasn't all about like high tempos and intense beats. Genres like trip-hop emerged, offering a more mellow, introspective take on electronic music.
Oh, for sure. When I think of trip-hop, artists like Massive Attack and Portishead come to mind.
Yeah.
Their music had this really cool, almost melancholic vibe. It was electronic, but with a soulful edge.
Yeah, yeah, it resonated with a lot of people. And let's not forget about those more atmospheric, down-tempo electronic artists like Boards of Canada. It proved that electronic music could be just as much about creating a mood and atmosphere as it was about dancing.
You know what else was interesting about the 90s? This was when compilations like the Café Del Mar series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They became really popular. They brought those Balearic chill-out vibes to a much wider audience.
That's a great point. Those compilations played a key role in popularizing the idea of chill as a listening experience, not just a background sound. And then, of course, came the 2000s, and the internet completely changed the game.
Right. Remember those days of digging through record crates, hoping to unearth a hidden gem? The internet made music discovery so much more accessible. You could stumble upon a whole world of sound from your bedroom. And that's when genres like chillwave really exploded.
It's like the internet provided the perfect breeding ground for niche genres to flourish. Think about the sound of chillwave. It's very dreamy, nostalgic, almost hazy.
Yeah, it's like the sonic equivalent of those hazy, sun-drenched summer days. It's interesting how you mentioned the internet's influence on the sound itself. Some music critics say those qualities of chillwave, that dreaminess, that haziness, they mirrored the feeling of spending hours online, getting lost in those early internet forums and virtual worlds.
Exactly. It just goes to show how closely intertwined music and technology are, especially when it comes to a genre like chill, which is so much about creating a specific mood or atmosphere.
It's wild, right? From those early days of cool jazz to, like, the internet completely changing how we discover genres like chillwave. But there's one more stop on our journey, and it's probably the most familiar to you.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to talk about chill music today without mentioning lo-fi hip-hop, or as you might know it, chill hop. It's everywhere.
Seriously, it's everywhere. It's like the go-to soundtrack for studying, relaxing, working.
Yeah.
Even just like staring out the window on a rainy day. And those visuals that often go along with it, the anime characters, the cityscapes, they add a whole other layer to the experience, don't they?
Yeah, it's become more than a genre, it's a whole aesthetic, a vibe. And those visuals, I think they play a big part in its appeal. They tap into this sense of nostalgia, kind of a longing that seems to resonate with a lot of people, especially in our fast-paced, hyper-connected world.
It's like lo-fi hip-hop. It gives you this sonic refuge, a place to escape from the constant noise and just breathe.
Totally.
And it makes you wonder, with all this incredible chill music right at our fingertips, playlists for every mood, every activity, are we like overthinking relaxation? Have we become too obsessed with curating the perfect chill vibe?
It's a good question. We've gone from chill being like this happy accident, something you might stumble upon while flipping through radio stations, to something we actively search for, analyze, and even like prescribe for ourselves with all these playlists and apps.
Exactly. So how do we find that balance, like between being intentional about our relationship with chill music and letting ourselves just be present with it?
I think it's about remembering that music, at its core, it's about connection. Connection to emotion, to memories, to other people even. So while it's great to have those curated playlists and tools and everything, sometimes the most powerful chill experience comes from just hitting play and letting the music take you where it wants to go.
Letting go of that need to control everything, to curate the perfect moment, and just letting ourselves be surprised, to be moved by the music. Because isn't that what chill music is all about at the end of the day? Creating space for those genuine moments of peace, reflection, connection.
Absolutely. So keep exploring, keep discovering new music and artists, and most importantly, keep letting the music guide you to those moments of chill. Who knows what sonic adventures await, right?
I love that. And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive into chill. We've traveled from smoky jazz clubs to the digital world of lo-fi hip-hop, uncovering a rich history of sonic exploration and a universal human need for moments of peace. So next time you hit play on that chill playlist, remember, you're not just listening to music, you're tapping into this whole lineage of sonic pioneers who, in their own way, help shape the soundscape of relaxation as we know it today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay chill.